After evidence was presented for the burglary and being told the techs have proof of him being at the murder scene and accused Zobe of being a murder suspect, Zobe bells began to ring and remembered from watching Dre from the TV series Power that he could cut himself a deal with the detectives if he decided to make a deal and speak a little bit. What it is, two-time gang. Y'all already know what it is. Dirtface, nigga, Dirtface, two-time on this motherfucker for sure. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe button. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Come part of the two-time family. Today, on big screen TV, we got possibly how Zobe Sykes 2-4 and Loreno Span CRACKA could possibly be witnesses for the state. It is written that Zobe Sykes 2-4 offered to make a deal or take a deal with the state of Florida in a case of the state of Florida versus Therese Powell to get his mom out of jail or to get the burglar off his name. So let's just get into it. On October 31st, 2021, Zobe Sykes, also known as 2-4, was picked up for a burglary charge and taken into custody. Zobe Sykes is a friend and co-defendant of known Jacksonville rapper K Shordy, also known as Therese Powell. Zobe Sykes is also being charged with 4 other charges in the September 28th murder of Xavier Mays, also known as 187 No Face, and attempted murders of Jacksonville rappers Spinner Benz and Greenlight, whose real names are Noah Williams and Deshaun Williams. Therese Powell and Zobe Sykes were both charged with murder in the second degree, 2 attempted murders, and shooting or throwing of deadly missiles. Therese Powell was picked up first, because he was arrested with CRACKA at the scene, and then Zobe Sykes was picked up almost a year later. The Black Range Rover that was identified at the scene of the murder crashed the following day after the murder during a high-speed chase. 3 occupants fled, but only 2 were caught that night. Those 2 were CRACKA, Loreno Span, and Therese Powell, aka Jacksonville rapper K Shordy. A cell phone outside of the crashed vehicle was also discovered and said to belong to Zobe Sykes, whose street name is 2-4. And about 30-40 minutes later, a call was made about a burglary that had just took place a block and a half north of the Range Rover crash site. Victims identified the men as Zobe Sykes, and later on, ring cameras, DNA from the crash scene, which was throw up, and fingerprints from the burglary would match Zobe Sykes. Victims stated that Zobe called his mom from their phone while holding them at gunpoint and even firing a shell inside the home to make them give him the phone and go alone. Zobe Sykes kept the victims at gunpoint until his mother arrived 20 minutes later, and then she offered them a bribe to not call the police. Well, we know that ain't work, because her ass called the police and then identified Zobe Sykes as the suspect. The Range Rover involved in the crash would belong to Zobe Sykes' mother, and the vehicle used to pick up Zobe can be tracked back to Zobe's mother's house where he and his mother resides. Police then get search and arrest warrants for Zobe Sykes and his mother, Diana Perry, and executes them. They will then be taken into custody and interrogated, where Zobe asked for his lawyer, and his mother was questioned and informed on her son possibly being a suspect and her being an accomplice to him. She would then be told that phone records from the victims can be pulled up, and stated that the number that Zobe used to call would be the number that she has attached to her name. So basically, the police said that the person that Zobe Sykes called off the victim's phone when he broke inside of their house was his mother, and asked her to come pick them up. Police can track the phone location from Zobe's mother's house back to the victim's house, because it was a 20-minute drive when they gave Zobe the address to give to his mother to come pick him up. Phone records were then accessed and pulled up with conversations of Zobe Sykes calling someone mother, and the phone number that was called off the phone was linked to Zobe Sykes' real mother, Diana Perry. Here is the interrogation video of the police interrogating Zobe Sykes' mother, Diana Perry, and informing her on everything that has taken place.
Do you recognize this young man?
Mm-hmm.
Who is that man?
Oh, that's Therese.
Therese. Have you ever allowed Therese to drive your Land Rover?
No, he's never drove any of my vehicles.
He's never driven any of your vehicles?
Mm-mm.
I mean, we're obviously investigating something, pretty serious. There was a homicide that occurred earlier in the day on September 28th, okay? Happened at Lenox and Cassett, all right? A young man was shot in a drive-by shooting and he ultimately passed away. He died of his wounds. And after that, we found a vehicle that matched the description. There was some evidence that links it to the shooting. And it crashed, and about a block and a half north, a young lady reported a burglary to her home. She said an unknown male came into her home via her sliding glass door, and he said he needed a ride and he needed her to call somebody. Mm-hmm. And so she dialed a number, and she called his mom, and the mom, I guess, GPS'd the address and came to pick him up.
Whose mom?
The individual who broke into this home.
Mm-hmm.
And that young man was identified as Zobe Sykes.
And his mom picked, and so I picked him up?
Well, they called your cell phone number. Yeah, not only did and they said it was a female who answered, and he talked to her as mom. Does Zobe call anybody else mom? This number here, right? So this is the phone number for the young lady whose home was burglarized. And she called your phone number, 63619. It says incoming, and you're on call for 1,985 seconds. Mm-hmm. Which comes out to, I think, about 20-something minutes. Mm-hmm. And so the details that we got were that the young man who they identified as Zobe, mm-hmm. coming in the house, got on the phone, mm-hmm. And he called his mom. And the mom GPS'd the address, and she said, I'll get there, it'll take me about 20 minutes to get there. So when you, as I know you know, we got the car and we were looking.
Yeah, and I'm trying to see like how long it's going to be before I get the vehicle back, because I'm still making car payments on the vehicle.
Mm-hmm. A while.
Oh, and they can keep it, because I'm not going to be paying for all of that. Like, yeah. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So, and one of the other things that came up, that, because you're saying it's your car, it's kind of your daily driver. There's a lot of things in there that come back to, that they look like male's clothing, look like Zobe's. Like, we found Zobe's wallet in it. Mm-hmm. And there's like men's shoes. I don't really recall finding any like female things. I'm
not hardly in my vehicle like that. Okay. Like, I don't hardly drive my vehicle.
Okay.
But no one else has permission to use it?
No, nobody has permission to drive my car. I don't hardly drive it, so it's normally they're parked at my house.
Well, and we can account for where your car was pretty much all day on the 28th. So it crashed, and it was good luck on our part, because there was a cell phone outside the crash site. And that usually links, because cell phones are, they're very important in today's society. Everyone's kind of got their phone like glued to them most of the time. And that cell phone came back to Zobe. And then we have a family. Their home is burglarized about a block and a half north. And they identify Zobe as the person who burglarized their home.
None of that.
Well, and the main reason, we're coming and talking to you is some of the details that we've gotten during this. Obviously, the phone call when Zobe calls his mom, and you're his mom. So he calls his mom, and the mom is asking him not to call police because he's a good kid, and then she comes over, GPS's the address, and tries to give money to the family. Do you know anything about your son Zobe being involved in a murder that happened on September 28th?
Alright, man. Stand up. I'm gonna put them in the front again, alright? Just pull your shirt back. Let me lock them into place. Alright. Come on.
After Zobe Sykes' mother was arrested, Zobe Sykes was brought back inside the interrogation room and told that his mom could be doing time for a burglary, but he still denied to talk. So Diana Perry was taken into custody and arrested for accessory to the burglary. State witness Tariq Mitchell, aka YNR Juju, was brought in for a sworn statement on March 11, 2022 and was accompanied by attorney TJ Bryant and Detective Saunders. Detective Saunders is also the detective working on the murder case of K Shordy. It is unclear why Tariq Mitchell was brought in custody to make a sworn statement or how K Shordy's murder case even came up, but he stated that Therese Powell, aka K Shordy, told him about the murder, and Tariq Mitchell also stated and indicated that K Shordy told him Zobe Sykes was a part of the murder as well. On March 28th, Loreno Span, aka CRACKA, came in to make a sworn statement and also has an interrogation video that is 92 hours long and costs $2,000 to access. You can't fucking tell me that video doesn't hold a lot of fucking juicy info, but we'll get it for somebody to buy. On March 29th, 2022, Jaquan Pickens was brought in to make a sworn statement about the murder case dealing with K Shordy. Then on 7/30/2022, July 30th, 2022, Zobe who was already incarcerated for burglary was charged with the 4 charges I mentioned earlier in the video, the same ones as K Shordy received. After evidence was presented for the burglary and being told the texts have proof of him being at the murder scene and accused Zobe of being a murder suspect, Zobe bells began to ring and remembered from watching Dre from the TV series Power that he could cut himself a deal with the detectives if he decided to make a deal and speak a little bit. Detective told Zobe that Greenlight, aka Deshaun Williams, and cousin of Spinner Beans, had said that he shot back at them because he feared for his life. So Zobe finally stated that he would talk if he could get the bullshit burglary off his name, and told Detective Saunders and Detective Jala that he was willing to speak to detectives if he could not get his mother out of jail on his own. So detectives agreed. And then on August 17, 2023, Zobe was found guilty of burglary, dwelling instead of armed burglary, and all the other charges. He got sentenced to 60 months in prison, which is 5 years, but got a year and a half or a year and 7 months worth of time served, leaving him only 2.5 years to complete. Now, it is still unclear if Zobe Sykes is still working with detectives to send K Shordy up the road so he can come home, or if Loreno Span 92-hour interrogation video holds all the truths to what happened, and that's why he got off with a slap on the wrist for resisting arrest. But what is clear is Tariq Mitchell, which is YNR Juju, and Zobe Sykes, which is 2-4, made deals and statements on Therese Powell, aka K Shordy, to get time off certain charges and pull themselves out of hot water and throw it K Shordy way. Loreno Span, Therese Powell, and Zobe Sykes can all be seen in K Shordy's video who really called Who's Really Killing, and seem to be really close. But now two of them, K Shordy and 2-4, are facing the same 4 charges, and one got away, but all was identified on the scene, with Shorty as the driver, CRACKA as the passenger, and 2-4 being the passenger in the back driver's seat. Now what I don't understand is, how was CRACKA, Loreno Span, real name, not charged with anything besides resisting officer? Was it because YNR Juju only said that Therese Powell said that he did the murder and said that Zobe was with him and CRACKA name didn't come up? And another CRACKA DNA was found on the scene anywhere? Was that why? Or was it because of the 92-hour interrogation video that Cost 2,000 of Lil CRACKA has a lot of information that he gave so that he can get off. I really don't know, but it's kind of fishy to me that Lil CRACKA actually got off for a lot of shit because they all three of them was in the car. All three of them tried to run. Zobe actually got away, and Lil CRACKA and K Shordy didn't. But Lil CRACKA was never ever charged from the start with nothing, and K Shordy was. And then when Zobe get arrested, he gets charged the same thing. K Shordy gets charged, but Lil CRACKA still never gets it. But far as the Zobe Sykes snitching, I really can't tell you if Zobe Sykes is gonna hit the stand against K Shordy in this case, because he already been sentenced for his time for the burglary. He received 60 months, but 557 days time served, so that's a year and 6-7 months off. He didn't get a drop, but he definitely got his time cut. His mom, if I'm not mistaken, is out of jail right now. So it's looking like he definitely worked with them. He was listed as a witness, a state witness, along with Loreno Span. Shit getting real, y'all. All I can say is, man, we gotta just keep watching. I can't really say who doing what, but what I can say is it's not looking good for K Shordy for real. Man, y'all motherfuckers, go ahead and check in. Hit that subscribe button before you leave. Hit the like button to get me on the algorithm. Cause shit, this shit crazy. And you know I'm covering it. And you gotta know we ain't fucking off. Dirtface nigga, Dirtface 2x.